This is a Church of Spirituality discussion. It's Tuesday, August 6th already. And this is a time I like to set aside for us to discuss what was read on Sunday, August 4th. It's been a very busy time in the collective. Just gonna have a little bit of water. Hang on a sec. So let's settle in. I'm going to read, and when a few more people show up. And I want you to know that you can ask any questions. You can ask any questions that you like if you want to about the content. Let's just review that we're in a new month, and let's review the theme for August. So going with the theme that this is a time, especially in the pagan and Wiccan tradition, right? July 31st, August 1st, August 2nd, right around that time, we celebrate, Earth religions celebrate Lammas, which is considered the first harvest. Hello, hey Darren. And the first harvest of the season is when, little zucchini squash start popping up, and the lettuce, and, the early part of the harvest. Or maybe some of you already have that. But it has very spiritual meaning and significance. So the theme for August is Dawn of the Divine Harvest. And the sermon on Sunday was Bearing Good Fruit, our divine mission. Our divine mission is to bear good fruit. If you haven't watched Church of Spirituality from this past Sunday, I highly encourage you to watch it. The sermons are always very inspiring, and the readings are very inspiring. The chants, like I'm in the present, and the other chants is like 4 or 5 of them. They really help you through your week. Marie is saying her green peppers are growing nicely. Yeah, so it's really important to celebrate that, to really, take note of the miracle of that, and the miracle of us. That we even exist. That we grow and we expand and we blossom. So anyway, make sure you check out the church service if you haven't already. And make sure that you hit the thumbs up, and please subscribe. Most of you here are already subscribers, but please share, because we want more people to feel inspired. And Darren saying the chants are very, very helpful and life-changing. Thank you. You get a bell for that. Or an angel bell. They do help. They help me. They definitely do. I'm going to put a little more light on. It's kind of dark in here. Suddenly it's getting dark. There, that's better. The sun just went down. Alright, so bearing good fruit, our divine mission. The first reading is from Ernest Holmes. We love Ernest. From The Science of Mind. And you're welcome for the bell. I really love this reading. I'm going to go through it, and then we'll talk about it. And make sure, if you have questions or something to discuss, throw it up there. We have about 20 to 25 minutes. It goes without saying that all people desire a dynamic, radiant personality. And it is self-evident that certain palettes are essential to produce this result. The external personality really reflects the soul, and its building may be likened to a mental garden, where the harvest depends upon the kind of seed that is sown. Each one chooses for himself just what kind of materials he will use, and each builds according to the pattern of his own desires. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Just as a fine architect uses only the best materials and plans most carefully how to construct his building, so should we, in the building of personality, choose most carefully the kind of materials we wish to use. So we'll go over those in a moment, but I just want to say that today we got to bear witness to the vice presidential nominee candidate being introduced to America. We have seen Kamala Harris being more out there for America, for us to get to know her better. And as we observe, there are differences between the two candidates. I mean, the Trump side and the Harris side. And we really get to bear witness to what Ernest Holmes is describing here, that we're bearing witness to external personalities that are really reflecting the soul. That it's hard for us not to broadcast that which is within. And I'm glad you found us. I love to listen to Dr. Wayne Dyer, even though he's on the other side now. I think that he speaks very, very much, not much different from the way he spoke and taught us when he was here on the earthly plane. There's a lot of stuff that we can go and listen to. Oprah she may still have a show called Super Soul Sunday. It's been popping up on my YouTube live stream. There's an interview with Dr. Dyer on Super Soul Sunday. Highly recommended. I'll find the link and I'll share it. And what Wayne Dyer would say often was, when you squeeze an orange, what do you get? You get orange juice. When you squeeze you, what do you get? You get whatever it is that's in here. So if we're not feeling all that wonderful, then we have to focus on that seed within us, right? If we want it to be better, if we want to be having a better experience in life, we want to be planting a good, happy garden in life, then here are the things that Ernest Holmes says that we can really focus on. And I know that he wrote this book about 100 years ago, almost. But it still applies, and I really believe that we're coming into a time in the United States where we're going to fundamental principles of spirituality. So when we are broadcasting, we're always broadcasting. We never stop broadcasting. It's just like guidance. You know, God never stops guiding us in whatever form that you feel that God is in your life. So we can't not be broadcasting. So being really aware of that is important. I've been talking a lot lately about vibrational frequencies, and I think that this really spells out beautifully how the external personality really reflects the vibration, the soul, the vibration of the soul. So in order to really, it's kind of like, I'm not really a gardener, I mentioned that on Sunday, but I do have some tomato plants and some sunflowers that my friend who lived here before left for me on the porch. I just saw her today. And so I'm working on it. So it's like if you have the right soil and the right sunlight and the right, rain and the right conditions, that's similar to ourselves. And here are the ingredients for us broadcasting that inner beauty. High character. Ernest Holmes says, first of all, it should be founded upon the rock of high character. These are the building materials for our souls. High character, high ideals, and built for eternity as well as for today. We can have the material also of sincerity. Sincerity in every human relationship is essential. When we see people's authenticity, that they're not pretending to be something that they're not, when we're being that way, when we're being authentic, when we share our genuine, authentic selves, that's sincerity. And that builds a sense of trust amongst, well, with ourselves first of all, and then amongst others too, because if you can trust, and everybody can sense this, don't be mistaken thinking that people can't sense what's going on, because we can. We all can. Authenticity, when you see it, you know it. You know what it is, you can feel it, you can sense it, and it may feel like a sense of trust and a sense of being safe with somebody. So sincerity in every human relationship is essential. Ability, another one of the building materials. To be a master of one thing and to daily improve. Now, when I see this, to be a master of one thing, I have to say that I really do agree with that. I really do agree with having a life purpose statement, something that one person decides that this is what I want to have mastery about. We can be good at a bunch of things, but having mastery gives us a really strong sense of self-esteem. Having mastery gives us the next thing is enthusiasm, right? When we choose to have mastery of one thing, then we really can shine. We really can be even more authentic. Yes, it matters. It matters a lot. So let's consider that. Let's consider, like, if we don't feel we have mastery in one thing. I mean, you might have mastery at, making people laugh and smile. That's pretty good. But don't rule out the importance for our own selves and our own sense of fulfillment, and that we are living our purpose for that sense, to decide what it is that we're about, what we're good at, and to really focus on that. It gives us a strong sense of, it's really important that we're here. We're here for a reason. Next one, enthusiasm. A keen interest in people and things at home and abroad. To not live in an insular way, to live in a way that we know that we are, we're curious, we like to learn. Or if you ever see little children, like little toddlers, they're always learning, they're always gathering information. They're little information gatherers, right? They have a keen interest. Our innate nature is to want to grow, is to want to expand, and it is to want to blossom. When I was hanging around with Sadhguru all the time, he would talk to us about, there's a couple of kinds of yoga you can be. You can be rock yoga, which is just being, right? Nothing wrong with that. Might get a little boring. Or you can be flower yoga. Our human nature is about blossoming. How can we blossom? With enthusiasm, through enthusiasm. A keen interest in people and things at home and abroad, right? When you see people that are very dull, you might notice that they're not very interested in very many things. Including you. Including your, like, they're not very interested in you. Enthusiasm is so important. And Ernest Holmes, I like this, he puts it this way. Enthusiasm has been called the fortune teller of life. I think what he means by that is, if you're an enthusiastic person, you can predict that you're going to feel enthusiastic in your life. He says enthusiasm is compelling and sweeps everything before it. Service. Yes. Yeah, getting your enthusiasm and curiosity back. I like that, Cheryl. And service. Personally, I feel like that's why we're here. And we do that in so many different ways. And even if you don't feel like you're here to be in a service role, like primarily, I still think that we're here to serve. It might be in some little way that you don't even notice. Service is the keynote to success and implies constructive work. What pops into my mind is like Jimmy Carter, up until he was into his 90s, and he's, God love him, he's still here, worked for Habitat for Humanity. Service is the keynote to success. People who genuinely serve with authenticity and love are the happiest people you will ever meet, hands down. If they're doing it from their generous giving heart, not from martyrdom. And it's the keynote to success and implies constructive work. Also, loyalty to your work and to all concerned in it, which is really about, I'm loyal to my work and I want to include everybody in that. So, beautiful lesson from Ernest Holmes. I encourage you to read through these readings more than once, as much as you can. And also, yeah, Jimmy Carter set such a great example. And I would say that if you read this reading by Ernest Holmes, if you read it through again and you think about people that fit these descriptions of what he's saying here, you'll see some really good personification in those people that you think about that are really, out picturing that in their lives. It comes from an inner authenticity and love. I'm so grateful, as I know you all are, that we're starting to see that, what I just described here in Ernest Holmes' reading, we're starting to see that emerge and coming into the limelight in the United States of America. So it's a really powerful, powerful time for us to really collectively choose love and connectivity and authenticity and service. All that good stuff. Does anybody have a question before I go to the Emily Katie reading? I know you're making comments, but I'm wondering if anyone has a question. Please hit the thumbs up, everybody. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm thinking you probably are, whoever's here, because it's a small group on Tuesdays. Until we grow bigger. Lessons in Truth by Emily Katie. I'm going to read this and then I'll tell you why I chose this one for this topic of bearing good fruit, our divine mission. She says, we hear a great deal about sitting in the silence. To many, it does not mean very much, for they have not yet learned how to wait in silence for God only, which is from the book of Psalms. To wait in silence for God only, or to hear any voice except external ones. This one really got me because she also lived about 100 years ago. To hear any voice, to be in the silence. I'm going to read that again. To many, sitting in the silence does not mean very much, for they have not yet learned how to wait in silence for God only. We're really bad at this in our society nowadays. But I'm here to tell you, well, first of all, I have a meditation class on Saturday if you're interested. I'm here to tell you that those who are able to do this have a huge, not that it's a competition, but really have a huge advantage in their lives. It's a huge advantage to be able to do that, to sit in the silence. Many people have not yet learned how to do that, or to hear any voice, any other voice, except just the external ones. It's not easy nowadays. There's a lot of external voices, but that's where the true power is. Noise belongs to the outside world, not to God. The power is within. Sadhguru would say, the only way out is in. We have to go in. God works in the stillness. And we can so wait upon the Father of our being. And I think what Emily means by that is the Father of our being, the inner consciousness. So the Father of our being, meaning the kingdom of heaven within. We can so wait upon the Father of our being as to be conscious of the still inner working, conscious of the fulfillment of our desires. So we come to the stillness with a knowing. I know that I'm here to receive, to be with, to learn to wait, and to not get aggravated if we feel like we don't get an answer, to just be in that faith. If the answer's not coming right now, it will come eventually, right? Yes. yeah, come to the videos, Cheryl, and then, I just mentioned Wayne Dyer's video, get all that inspiration and then sit in the stillness too, besides. Take in the good stuff, good information, and then when you come to the stillness, sometimes we get guidance in the stillness that we might not be an audible voice, because that would scare us if God was like, hey you. But when we come to the stillness, maybe the message comes, oh, you might want to watch that video, right? We get guidance in the stillness that we act on later. So we can wait. God works in the stillness. I'm going to back up. Noise belongs to the outside world, not to God. God works in the stillness. And we can so wait upon the Father of our being as to be conscious of the still inner working, conscious of the fulfillment of our desires. Just knowing our desires are fulfilled in the present. They that seek Jehovah shall renew their strength, is from the book of Isaiah. In one of Edward Everett Hale's stories, he speaks of a little girl who, amidst her play with the butterflies and birds in a country place, used to run into a nearby chapel frequently to pray. And after praying, she always remained perfectly still a few minutes, waiting, she said, to see if God wanted to say anything to her. Children are often nearest to the kingdom. We know when we're children there's a higher power. When beginning the practice of sitting in the silence, do not feel that you must go and sit with some other person. The presence of another person is apt to distract the mind. Learn first how to commune alone with the Creator of the universe, who is all companionship. So learn first how to commune alone with the Creator of the universe. I know that we live in a society where people hate to be, in general, a lot of people hate to be alone, and a lot of people hate to be undistracted. So sometimes it's a practice that we must do. Okay, I don't want to go too long. 25 minutes is like as long as I want to go, because people don't watch if it's longer. But if you have a question, feel free to ask. So if you have a question, be alone with the Creator. Resist the temptation to need to hear a voice, resist the temptation to have any needs, to just know that it's good enough that I'm coming to the stillness. That's what's required. I did mention just a little bit earlier that this weekend, as part of my psychic summer school, on Saturday we have a meditation class. So if you want to sign up for that, go to psychicannetteDion.com. No questions. Oh, okay. I must have done a good job teaching. All right. So I'd love to have you in the class. If you want to register for that, it's at psychicannetteDion.com. And maybe I'll throw that up on the Church of Spirituality, churchofspirituality.online also. And speaking of websites, my music is now on AnnetteDionMusic.com. That's a few websites. Thank you so much for joining me. Just for a heads up, if you ever want to watch this on Wednesday, like the next day on replay, it takes a long time to upload because the channel is new. So just know that you have to wait until we get more people here. So share with your friends, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for coming. Namaste.